welcome to the show for today. I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I am discussing the impact of Job Corps on African American youth, and I have Gary Nelson Jr. here to discuss his background, his education, his faith, his career, and ultimately the impact that Job Corps has had on his life and ways that he works with youth in the program. So Gary, just to start off this first segment, I want to thank you for coming here and for talking to me today. Thank you. And to get the ball rolling, let's talk baby Gary.
Okay.
Tell me about those early years, introduce yourself, where you're from, all the good stuff.
So thank you for having me again. I'm Gary Nelson. I'm from High Point, North Carolina. Was there for about 10 plus years, and then I moved to Nashville right after COVID or during the time of COVID. So I've been here for about 4 years now. Background, baby Gary. That's how much time we got?
You keep going. I'll tell you when we start.
Yeah, grew up with a two-parent household. My dad was a pastor, and my mom was a hard worker. She still is a hard worker today. But during 8, 12, 13, we kind of they divorced and moved in with my mom, and then actually got kicked out and about around the age of 14. So that just led me down a different path. I actually dropped out of high school. When I dropped out of high school, I was introduced to a place called Job Corps, which I in turn say it saved my life. Went to Job Corps at 17, graduated at 18. I got my trade in brick masonry. Once I did that, then I worked kind of in the construction field. But I was young though, so I made young mistakes.
And I gotta even ask you a question. It's in my head. How did you even get introduced to the program?
It's crazy that you say that. So me and my brother, we literally was just, I remember it like it was yesterday. We literally was just sitting down, and I was standing at the door. He was sitting on the couch, and I was just thinking, what are we gonna do? Because at this point, we're not going to high school. We just chilling around the house. So as soon as I said it, I seen a commercial that said Job Corps, and it said it gave you the opportunity to not only get a trade, but get your education. And I understand how important education is. So I just asked him, you want to try the Job Corps thing? We tried it. We signed up. With Wanda Kennedy and Tia Hunter over in Greensboro, North Carolina. I still stay in touch with them to this day. And the story goes from there.
And now another question in my head, what were some of the requirements, if any, for youth trying to join the program?
So the requirements is, it's actually required for you to be a high school dropout. One of the requirements is that if you're under the age of 18, of course. So the program is from 16 to 24. So that's one of the requirements to be a high school dropout, and just have the willingness to learn.
Wow. So there's no weight requirement, no height requirement?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all.
And my second part, getting into brick masonry, where did that come from?
I was just like, no matter what, we're going to be building for forever. So, and real estate is one of the biggest things in that keeps the economy going. So I just went with that, and I just said, I liked the instructor. His name was Mr. McFarland. Liked him, so we just clicked it off, and I just went into brick masonry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So now after you've gotten this certification, tell me how your education continued.
So the education was actually an online high school called James Madison. It was in Albany, Georgia. So we actually just went and got our high school, well, it was the adult diploma online while we're getting your trade. So you're 50% into trade, and then you're 50% getting your education.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. And now tell me, this is the Lyndon B. Johnson Job Corps program. Now I know that you went to a second program, and tell me kind of how that journey went.
So after my first job, I was 18 years old. I was making a good living at the time, but I messed up, and they fired me. So when they fired me, I was just kind of trying to find my way. And Job Corps actually gives you the ability to go twice. So I went the second time, and I went for an advanced brick masonry to just sharpen up on my skills. And I actually got a job at Baker Roofing in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow.
And that kind of kickstart my career again.
Oh my God. Yep. And to wrap this first segment, just tell me, do you see too many black youth in masonry?
Not at all. It's Latino American is what you typically see, and they're fast, but it's definitely a great trade, and it's still a good trade to this day.
Oh my God. And we're going to pick back up on that trade because I think trades are almost like a lost art.
It is,
in
and
this
it's
generation.
sad. It's sad because it kind of pays, and then
Not kind of, it pays.
It pays for sure.
And in our second segment, we're going to pick back up on just your experiences leading to Tennessee State University, leading to all the things that you do, all the endeavors that you're in. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where Gary and I will be discussing the impact of Job Corps on African American youth. The second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin, and you are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have Gary Nelson here discussing his background, his education, his life, and ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave on Tennessee youth. In our first segment, we talked about Job Corps. We talked about his background, how that led him to the program, how he got certifications in masonry, and how trades are a bit of a lost art in our generation. And we're going to pick right back up using that same momentum. Gary, you have these 2 certs in masonry now. Tell me about what life looked like after that.
So life was interesting after that because at the time I went into, rather than going into masonry, I went into roofing. So roofing is the same thing, interesting industry, but it's long hours. It's long hours. I remember waking up at 4 a.m. and getting off at 7 p.m. Some days. So it was just a lot of hard work. But one day I was on the roof, and one of the foremen, he came and spoke with me and my friend at the time, and he was saying, "Why are you guys doing roofing?" And we was just like, we're just trying to get some money at that time. And he said, "Why you don't just get an education? I'm in my 40s and I'm up here, but if I had you guys youth, I would go get an education and start a business, start a family, start a plan." So we got to thinking about it, and then I was introduced to a couple people that steered me in the way to go to Winston-Salem State University. It's HBCU in North Carolina. That's where I got my undergraduate at in business administration, and then it just took off from there.
Oh my God! And I know you're currently, you've completed your master's. You're going for your doctorate right now, also in business admin. And this is at Tennessee State University.
This is actually at Trakk.
Trakk. Oh, see, I'm over here desperate to get TSU in, but I knew it was one of our schools.
Shout out
I was
TSU
close
for sure.
And I love Trakk. Actually, my mom has 2 masters from Trakk, so that's where she did all her graduate work. Shout out to mom, and shout out to Trakk too. And so just picking back up right even lower, before going back to school, before all of that, I want to talk about just what you saw coming back home after the program. I want to talk about what you saw in the community, in the youth, because you're only 29 now, so this is all your early 20s, so it ain't like we're talking about 15 years ago. And tell me kind of what you saw in the community once you got back home.
So what I saw was it was the same thing, honestly. I went at 17 and I completed Job Corps at 19, 20. When I went into the job field, I kind of saw the same thing in my peers. Everyone was still doing the same thing. Everyone was still making the same wages and getting in the same trouble. So it kind of kept me on the right path to make sure that I stay disciplined within that industry that I was working in. But I also saw that we wasn't financial literate at all. That was one reason how I made a mistake of getting my first car, and they charging me 32, 36% interest on my car.
Oh my God.
But I was 18. So that kind of woke me up to kind of financial literacy, to see like our community really doesn't see none of that. And when I saw that, then that led me on another path as well.
Oh my God. Now tell me about this next path. You open it up, and this is our Project Right Trakk path. And so I want you in your own words to tell me the mission of Project Right Trakk, and then we're going to get into the actual things that you guys are doing on the ground.
So the mission is just to ensure that our youth actually have the terminology and the foundation of financial literacy and what I call life literacy, which is mindset management and professional etiquette. So I created the program just for that. It was created just for students that was in the Job Corps program that was ready to complete. But now it's kind of making a story of itself, because now I'm working with, I don't want to get it wrong, but Rutherford County.
Rutherford. I do the same thing.
I'm working with Rutherford County Detention Center now to start Project Right Trakk within the detention center.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just creating its own story.
And now, well, first I got to talk about you working with the incarcerated youth.
For sure.
That's priceless. Because seriously, they need just as much help, and especially with the trades. A lot of our jobs aren't felon friendly.
Yep.
A lot of our jobs don't like criminal backgrounds.
For
but with
sure.
that trade, you can work for yourself
You can work for yourself.
forever.
And that's kind of one thing that I emphasize in my program as well, that not only will you have a trade that you're going to have for a long time, we're going to give you the financial literacy as well as the tools to make sure that you become your own boss one day.
God, because if I was 16 and someone was telling me I could learn trade, I might be doing HVAC right now.
Yep. I really would have went another route, though. I can't say that,
You
though.
know?
Yep.
Now tell me some of the services that you actually provide for the kids, some of the things going on.
So it is a curriculum-based program to which I created, and it goes over life insurance, retirement planning, personal taxes, personal credit, mindset management, loans and contract terminology, as well as professional etiquette. So I created a 7-chapter workbook. So not only are we going over the terminology, we're actually working. We have a couple worksheets in there to where they can go on Google and find their own resources through the financial literate program.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Do you sell these to like other entities or anything?
So I'm in the process of getting it licensed. It is copywritten and trademark at the moment, but as of right now, I'm exclusively working with people who want to work with me. I'm not selling it to the public, but eventually the second edition probably would be for the public. But right now, I just want to continue to work with the people that I feel that is in need and they need it the most.
And aside from the youth that have had experience with Job Corps, what are some populations that you think really do need this the most? I'm thinking teen parents.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking disenfranchised communities. What are some that you're thinking?
I call them underdogs. Any community that has underdogs, I believe, will benefit from this program because it's like I said, it's teaching you the terminology, and the most important thing when it comes to being literate is just knowing the language. So anybody that doesn't know the language, I believe it'll be beneficial to them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have to keep saying OMG because I'm thinking about all this and I'm like, God, we would never know about stuff like this going on in the community.
At all.
Oh my, and especially for the kids. And especially since I'm sure you saw on the news, we just had that young man kill the security guard at that club.
Yep. It's
and
unfortunate.
I know, and he's only like 17.
Yep.
And you think about it, if he had somewhere to be on a Saturday, making him the money, you don't go break into cars.
Not even somewhere to be. If he was even able to understand the resources and the opportunities that he has for him, because I feel like most of people decisions come based on a survival mode. But you don't have to survive anymore in 2024 because we have so many opportunities to get some money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We have so many opportunities to do that. So it's just unfortunate, those situations.
And we're going to pick back up on that in that third segment, talking about these resources, the education that you've had, the experiences, and just ways that we can connect with Gary and Project Right Track. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the final segment of Perspectives, where Gary and I will be discussing the impact of Job Corps on African American youth, Project Right Track, and the impact that he seeks to leave on Tennessee. Of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin, and you are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have Gary Nelson here discussing his background, education, and ultimately the impact of Job Corps on African American youth. We talked about the experience he had in the programs going twice and just the impact, the positive impact that they had on him, the realization that resources are available for our underserved or disenfranchised communities and that we need to hone in on these resources. And Gary, we're just going to pick right back up. We literally just left off talking about how our youth don't realize what's in front of them, and to kind of tell me how, when you're with your youth for the program, how you make them realize that.
So honestly, it's Google, just understanding the different resources that's even available on Google at this point. And social media is a big thing now, but why not use social media for something that's going to, one, impact, and two, make you some type of money? So just exposing them to that, exposing them to technology, exposing them to artificial intelligence, exposing them to everything that's available now, as well as the youth that's not in Job Corps, exposing them to Job Corps, because a lot of people really, if you don't know anyone that went to Job Corps, it's like you don't even know Job Corps
it happened.
exists.
I know.
So just making sure that I'm an advocate for them and making sure that I market them in the best way possible to show that those are resources still available. And it's free. It's a free program. You stay on campus. They feed you 3 meals a day. You're able to play on the basketball team. You're able to get a job there. You're able to do a lot within that Job Corps program, and it kind of gives you a year off of life, but to just kind of get
your
stuff
life together.
Yep.
And you know, I think what a lot of people don't realize, we don't even realize Job Corps is still going on, like in the 21st century.
Crazy. It's actually one in Memphis, Tennessee, which is 2 hours away.
Oh, and I never would have known that.
Yep.
In fact, my only real firsthand knowledge of the program is through my grandfather, who went back in like '64, and he has these black and white photos where he's in a room and he's with 50 other men. He's the only black man in there. But again, nothing beyond that. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything because it's almost gate kept.
It's not even gate kept. It's just not marketed well.
Yeah.
It's not marketed well because now kids kind of need things that's in their face.
Yeah.
We see a whole lot of things on social media. I believe that the program is not using social media to their advantage, but we're going to get there.
I'm about to say definitely because I haven't seen any ads, and
not at all.
I work at McGavick High School. I can think of 10 kids that I would pull to the side and be like, yo, look, we know you don't want to be here. This may not be the best space for you. I got something that may help you get it together.
You know what's even more crazy? The Job Corps office is 1 minute away. It's a walk away in the next building.
Wow.
Yep.
From right here. Right here in Metro Center.
Yep.
And we're in like the center of the city. You know, 5 minutes is North Nashville, 5 minutes West Nashville.
This has got to be marketed better.
OMG. I'm like, my jaw's on the floor because I had no clue that they were still just as prevalent. And now, in terms of recruiting, do you still have to, reach out to them? Are they coming in the schools and the prisons?
They do come to the schools, and it's based on the area and the district. So this area, I believe, is marketed for the Job Corps in Memphis, the Job Corps in St. Louis. It's 124 in America.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's marketed, but what's even more crazy is they're having an attendance problem right now. And it's so many people that could use the program. So hopefully this...
Like not enough kids?
It's not enough kids that's signing up for Job Corps right now. It's an attendance problem.
Wow.
Yep.
And we literally, in our last segment, just talked about the young man breaking into cars, killing people.
Yep.
For every 5 children that are on the news for something ridiculous every week, at least 3 of them would be successful.
At least 3. We haven't even talked about the actual trades that they have. So they have welding. You can get your CDLs. You can get CDLs. Let's see another one. CNA, office administration, culinary. So they have at least 20 different trades that you can actually pick and choose from, see what the salaries are, see what the opportunities are for yourself, and it'll be able to help you choose.
And now, I didn't specifically ask, this was kind of implied, but while you're actually in the program, you're still going outside. Your work isn't centralized to just the program. You're actually going out into the community.
You go out into the community, I would say it's something like boot camp and college mixed. So you're staying on campus, but you're still able to go to the Walmart, to the mall. They have field trips every weekend. You can go out and grab you some lunch. You can get DoorDash to you. So it's literally just like college, but boot camp as well, because they still have different strict things like your curfew and
what do those things look like?
So curfew is just, from my experience, it's just if you go out on the weekend, you just have to be back at a certain time, or like you have to have your lights out at a certain time because you're getting up at 6 a.m. So it kind of teaches you discipline as well. Wow. Yep.
And do you guys attend any religious services?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So it's optional, and they welcome all denominations. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Dang, Job Corps. This has been like the perfect advert. I'm about to go join the Corps. But seriously, any youth that's watching this episode right now that's saying like, boy, I really need to get out of my surroundings, what do you think their first step should be?
First step is to try to contact honestly, if you look up Job Corps admissions, it'll give you the nearest location to go and speak with one. And honestly, if you contact me, I'll make sure that you get to the right person.
Wow. And this segues into plug yourself. How can people get in contact? Tell me social medias, addresses, not your home address, of course, but, but just ways that we can get in contact with you and Project Right Track.
So Instagram, of course, building.alegacy. And the website is GaryBNelson.com. Email Gary, GaryNel1214 @gmail.com is probably my best point of contact, all three of those.
And again, now how can we support Project Right Track? Say people who are wanting to maybe donate or speakers wanting to come in, how should they go about that?
I believe probably the best way is to just get in contact to see what we can do for the community. Because honestly, I'm contracted with different job corps in America, so I don't really need any donations.
Hey.
But if you do know a program, a school, a center that could benefit from things like this, then I could definitely come in and do a 2-day course for you.
Oh my goodness. And people just have to just reach out to you.
Just reach out.
Nothing special,
Not at all.
no requirements, no.
There's no requirements because it's mine. I own it. So I don't really, as long as you reach out and as long as it makes sense for us to impact the community or impact your target audience, let's do it.
Oh my God, man. I want to be Gary when I grow up. To end off this final segment, tell me just the impact that you seek to leave throughout all of this. How does Gary want to be remembered when it's all said and done?
I just want to be remembered as a vessel to anyone who is considered an underdog. So I say underdogs are people who are high school dropouts, whose statistics say that they're not going to make it. I just want to make sure that I impact them and become the best vessel that I can. I'm currently, like you said, I'm on track to complete my doctorate in 2025. So with that, I just plan to do a slew of things, create more curriculums, create more workbooks, create books, and just speak all over the world as best as I can. But like I said, my overall impact is just to be the best vessel that God's want me to be.
And you're doing it, man. And
For
Dr.
sure.
Nelson's going to have a ring to it. I like
is.
that, Dr. Nelson.
It is.
Man, thank you. I can't thank you enough for what you're doing for the community, and thank you for just coming on and sharing that.
For sure.
I know that everything that you talked about correlates directly with what our viewers deal with or with what their children are dealing with. I get messages from parents all the time saying, my kid's doing this and that. Do you have anywhere my kid, can I send my child to you? And I'm like, no, but I can help you. And this is, again, one of those resources that I'll use to help. So thank you, Gary.
But I want to thank you too, because it's not people that's highlighting different things that's being impacted in the community directly, rather than because you're hitting all levels, you're hitting all surfaces. So I want to thank you as well, because you're doing some great things as well.
Man, I appreciate you. That means a lot coming from you, man. And just again, any way that I can support you, you let me know. Any way our viewers can support, let me know. And to our viewers, thank you for allowing me this space one more time, and thank you for allowing me to share one more perspective. Thank you and good morning.